I don't know why they picked Zendaya. Like, no offense, but she's not who Bethann fought for. Hello and a welcome to Black History Month with Clear Hair. So today's first episode, we are talking about the Bethann Hardison. And my issue is that I didn't connect her to kadeem Hardison. I didn't connect them to. He's from a different world, known actor. He was in a lot of different movies in the 90s. I don't know why I didn't connect it. Also, Tyson Beckford, one of her models at her agency, he looks the same. So we have called on Sam and Dean from Supernatural to get this vampire because there's no reason why he should still look the same. Also, I also put on her skin looks so juicy. Like, for her to be in her 80s and the skin, like, if you watch the documentary, but like literally her skin looks so juicy. Like the next 13-14 minutes as you come on this journey with me is just me I need to start drinking my water now because I don't understand. Like, it doesn't make any sense. But we're going to go into the review. So overall, this is a documentary about Bethann. I also feel like it's also kind of like a call to action as well, because her main thesis statement, like her main thing was that making sure that everybody can have a piece. And as I've told you guys before, I used to model in my late teens, early 20s. I'm too old now, parentheses. But I would have given anything to be in her modeling agency. And this brings me to the fact that, like, she was 5'8" when she started, and, you know, she comes in, she has these round eyes, dark skin, Afrocentric features, like, you know, like the bigger nose, the rounder eye, full lips, you know, very high cheekbones, almost cut me. But like for her to come in there, because like I said, like in the modeling world, I'm 5'10", like they want their models, most of the models, they want them to be about 5'9.5" to 5'11". A lot of people always think, oh, I'm 6 feet tall, I can be a model. They're not going to make all that material for you. I'm just letting you know. But for her to come in at 5'8", as a model, for you to come in 5'8", you have to be perfect. And she was perfectly imperfect. And so she came in as the modeling agency. And then you ever meet someone, like they say it, like just to touch base on, like, you know, different people like talk. You have Naomi Campbell, Tyson Beckford, even like a couple of the older models that she worked with. But you ever have somebody come in and you could tell that they're married, they're everyone's mother. So like with kadeem, I think that's another reason too why we didn't really know, like we knew, but it wasn't really publicized that he was related to her, because of the fact that like she was his mom's second, you know. And I feel her, because sometimes like when God gives you a mission, sometimes your wants have to come second. And I feel like she truly was a mother. Like you say, mother is mothering, as you guys be saying, but she truly was a mother to everyone. And I do feel like, even though like in the as it goes to the docu-series, as soon as she said, oh, I was gone for several weekends, I was in Europe, I was in this place, I was in this place, I was like, I promise you that relationship with that son, I already knew before she even said it. I knew it was going to be strained, because it's like you're proud of your mom for being everybody's mom, but you want your mom, you know. So I think they did a good job of touching base on it and really just showing like the growing pains. Like I think the documentary was done correctly, nicely done. But the biggest impact, I would say, is her modeling agency. So her modeling agency was pretty much, the common motif was that you had to have something about you. Like it wasn't her just basically making like a black modeling agency. Like every person that came there had personality. And I think I know that's why she stood out. I would have been a perfect Bethann model. Like that's why they stood out. Like back in the day, no offense, but back in the day, personalities were there because people weren't being told how to act. Like they had to actually have their own unique personality. And I think that's why so many of her models stood out and stayed in the top models, stayed on every top magazine, because the fact that like she made a requirement. You just can't come in here and be like, I'm pretty, I want to model. Like you have to actually have something going on with you, like have some type of personality, have something interesting to say, be well-rounded. And that doesn't mean you have to be an extrovert. You could be an introvert or whatever, but as long as you were something, like she had that requirement, which I thought was pretty dope. Kamara Lee Simmons, Naomi Campbell, Naomi Campbell, Coralie Simmons, Tyson Beckford. A lot of, sorry, my lips were like peeling. I'm like, what is going on? But a lot of like the models, a lot of the models were like, I don't know how to describe it, but like, I just feel like there was just such a level of decorum that she carried herself. Like, it's very easy to follow someone who's charismatic, but she actually cared. Like these were her children. Like, that's probably why, I'm sorry, this is really irritating me, but that's probably why she got irritated with them more. Because when Tyson Beckford, like, she was talking about how, like, when Tyson Beckford first came over, like, she was really like, oh, who's this bad boy? But she saw his potential. Ralph Lauren signed him up, which, once again, I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but I didn't know Ralph Lauren was still with us. I didn't know Calvin Klein was still with us. I mean, you know, heaven forbid. But I thought they was gone. Okay, I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't gonna lie. Hey, I'm trying to be funny, but I didn't know they was with us. Shout out to them. You got it. But anyways, so we're gonna get into like her very much her message is the Black Girls Coalition. Basically, it was founded at first. It was founded by basically, you want to see some pretty models, you want to donate, have your tax credit. I mean, send it to charity. Come on down to the Black Girls Coalition. And I feel like in that same aspect, like, I feel like there was a purpose. Like, they actually did work. Like, because you know how, like, I don't know if y'all was like in any clubs during university, like, there would be plenty of times where people literally would just sign up just to say they have that credit so they can go about their business. But she literally was her works. Like, what are you not if you're not measured by your works? And I feel like she really made a change. Like, she was calling to fruition. And, you know, the changes, like, I remember I saw one of the modeling comp cards, and it said her modeling comp card. I remember it. Because I'm good with numbers. I remember that her modeling comp card said 5'8", size 6 to 8. I was like, who could come and be a model at no size 6'8"? Like, size 6 to 8 is the worst. It's the average size. Well, not average size, but like, it's the worst size to be, because that means you're too small to be plus size, but then you're also too big to be small size. Like, I was like, that's why when I saw her comp card said size 6 to 8, I was like, oh, this must have been the 80s. I was like, oh, okay, this must have been the 80s, because there was a change. Like, there was a shift. Like, you guys saw it. Like, you know, to this day, I still feel like that's like part of body dysmorphia that a lot of us millennials and older Gen Z has, is that we were brought up with thin is in. Thin is how you get a men. That's not a word. But that's how we were brought up. So all of a sudden, I want to say it happened when I was in 7th grade. What decade was that? Late 1900s. When I was in 7th grade, like, I remember being like, you being skinny was in. And the change happened because, like, a lot of the models started looking more Eurocentric, and they would just have one person. And, you know, I can briefly share with you guys before. I think I've shared with y'all before, but there was a model casting that was going to pay $1,500. So let's clap it up for the girl. It was going to pay $1,500, and here's the casting. Here's the casting. I'm going to read it. What the casting thing said. It said, looking for a black model, 5'8" and up. That's me. 5'10". I'm overzealous. Loose curls. They're not loose, but I can buy them loose. Light eyes, fair complexion, fair skin tone. They're looking for a black girl casting. Now, does that sound like a black woman that we know? Yes. But does that sound like the average black woman? No. They had me at light eyes and loose hair. I can't eye contact. Like, my eyes don't work for that. But the casting, like, listen to the casting. The casting is not asking for that. Like, that's what the purpose of the Black Girl Coalition was in doctrine, so we can have a chance. Like, at the end of the day, like, it's one thing to say you need loose colored hair and different colored eyes, but I can't get around the skin thing. Like, the melanin, the melanin is part of the package, okay? But I just felt like the Black Girls Coalition, like, she came up with it at first, and then she brought it back during Golona time. Galona that happened in 2019. She brought it back there, and I feel like it truly to this day still stands that she still was able to really go through and make a difference, and that's pretty much her thing, you know. But I would say overall documentary, I give documentary like 4.75 out of 5. The reason why I don't give it high because I feel like it wasn't promoted. I feel like it wasn't promoted. I do feel like another critique I was saying earlier was with Zendaya. Now you guys know I love Zendaya. Shake it up. Like I've been a fan of Zendaya since how long, you know. However, I wish they would have interviewed Ducky Thought or the Tech. Like I wish they would have interviewed another young model who is dark skinned and who doesn't have Eurocentric features. Like I wish they would have interviewed someone like that. So like this is basically, I'm not saying that Bethann made this modeling agency for or make these moves or these strides for just people who look like her, but it's kind of hard to relate. Like it's kind of like when Tyra Banks was the first model on Sports Illustrated, black model on Sports Illustrated, and she was saying how one of the photographers was like, I've never been attracted to a black woman, but I'm attracted to you. And everybody was cheering. I was like, that's not a cheer for me, baby. Like, I mean, I have like 17 ring lights on my face, but I am dark skinned. Okay. I would say I'm like brown skin. It's winter time, so I'm looking a little light. But that's not a win for me. That doesn't feel like a win for me. Like you're light skinned with green eyes. Like if you would have been like, oh my God, like Lupita, I've never been attracted to another person. Gabrielle Union, Kelly Rowland, Normani. Like if you would have said Vince Streeter, like if you would have said any of those women that was attractive, then I would have been like, okay, so you really do see our beauty. Like you're literally taking like someone who doesn't look like the average black woman. The average black woman does not have green eyes. Matter of fact, nobody has green eyes. Green eyes, you have a better chance of winning the lottery than having green eyes. That's how rare green eyes are. And it didn't matter. It doesn't matter what I say to y'all. Y'all gonna have your own opinion, but I felt more, you know, despite her, you know, disparities, I felt more of a push towards dark skin women being attractive when Naomi Campbell came out. That was who I looked up to. Okay, besides her disparities, we don't know, alleged. That's who I looked up to, because I'm just like, finally, someone who looks like me, who's dark skinned, who has an athletic build to them, who's dark skinned, who people want and you know, thirst after. Like that's how I felt seen with her. Not even though she has a British accent, you know. I still felt more seen with her compared to Tyra Banks. I was like, you're light skinned with green eyes. Like I can't really relate. You see, like I have like 17, like almost 17 ring lights, and my eyes are still almost black. Like I can't relate to that. At the end of the day, it's all about representation, and that was her main thing. I do have here that she started, I'm gonna say she started the phrase, but black is beautiful. I'm gonna say she coined it, you know, but it was like part of the Black Girl Coalition, and I get it. And it's crazy because the first thing that people always say is that, oh, well, create your own space and go. And I know, but when we create our own space, you don't buy it. Okay? I have a channel that purposely caters to everyone, but specifically to enlighten and tell you guys that natural hair is beautiful. Extensions that look like your hair is beautiful. And yeah, you guys don't support it. So at the end of the day, you got to choose which one are you going to be. Are you going to be A, where you're just like, oh, you guys don't build stuff, but I'll support you? Or B, you're going to just make your top lip and your bottom lip talk to each other. Like that's what's going to happen. Because look if Bethann would have gave up. Like, look if she would have sat there and would have been like, oh, I don't know if anybody will accept me. She came in there. She was even on wobbly legs. I always call it, if you can do it on giraffe newborn legs, you can do anything. And that's true. Like, even on wobbly legs, she came out there as a full force to be reckoned with and made sure that she stood out. But I would definitely say y'all need to Yeah, I need to watch this documentary, like, not just because it's Black History Month, but just in general. Like, she's incredible. Like, I knew about her because every model knows all the major models. Let's play serious. Okay. But I just feel like you guys really are missing out. Like, she's just such a treat, but very well. She just has this charisma about her, you know, even in her 80s. Like, I promise you, if she ever opened a modeling agency, if you catch me on there, mind your business. Mind your business. Buy the magazine, but mind your business. But no, I definitely feel like the documentary was nicely done. And I didn't pick up my phone once. To me, I feel like if I had to pick up my phone somewhere through the movie's trash. But I didn't touch my phone once. I didn't know where I was at. People could have been broke on the side of the road. I wouldn't even know. Like, I watched this documentary straight through. No commercials, no breaks, no snacks. Like, it was that good and that enticing. But don't forget to subscribe, share,